and Dave Daly right here on the Muskegon channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly. That's Dave Cackley. And, you gain a couple 100 pounds, the transformation will be complete. I know you want to be me.
Oh, man. Well, you always accuse me of riding on your coattails, so now why not look like one of your coattails?
What do you think? I'm just going to drop dead one of these days, and all of a sudden you're going to be skinny, Andy?
I'm
no
Scandy.
Hair, goatee.
Oh.
Huh? Is that what's going on here?
I got some compliments from some drunk women over the weekend, so I thought, we'll see.
I was hanging around Stinky's bar in Middleville, and they kind of dug the old...
Saturday was a fun night.
Yeah, what'd you do Saturday?
I just hung out with my friend Todd, and we had a couple of bars in Caledonia, and I think he offended the owner of one of them. Not really, but kind of. And then we went to not Stinky's, it's called Red's in Middleville, and had an interesting time there. Had a few drinks and chatted up some people. It was fun.
Yeah,
good times. Yeah,
sounds like a scream.
It was, man. That's just, you know what that is? We call that small town fun.
Is that what that is?
I like it. The older you get, the more you appreciate it, and I love it.
You know what? I've spent a day or two with the bow tie in Sparta, and I couldn't agree more. That's good people.
Salt of the earth folk.
Salt of
just
the earth
plain
folks.
folk.
The working people. I like being around them.
Absolutely.
I got home Saturday from Lewis's, and we had some grandkids staying overnight, and I heard, gee, but I'd sit on your lap, but you kind of smell like the pigs.
You could shower afterwards.
Well, I was trying to work my way to the shower, but when you got 3 kids there, it's you try to get them settled down and then hit the shower.
Of course,
that's the priority. So I hadn't quite gotten there yet. So
all right, understood.
Yeah. And today, let's take one look out the window this morning. Ready to turn around and go right back to bed. So this better be a good newscast, or else. If I woke up with nothing, I'm here to tell you what. Not only do I have you ripping off my look and act, this better be a good newscast.
It will. Hang on, I gotta wet my palate.
Oh yeah. You plug for a beverage today?
Gatorade.
Oh, it's a Coca-Cola product today.
That's G. All right. Ready?
As I'll ever be.
Okay, let's do it.
You better be good.
Okay, President Trump says the U.S. is prepared for anything when it comes to the North Korean nuclear crisis. The president emphasized the importance of China's role during an interview on Sunday. Trump said Chinese President Xi Jinping has the power to do something very significant with respect to North Korea. Of course, he's talking about economically. They've closed off some banking systems and cut down on oil, so... when it comes to dealing with North Korea, China has a huge role to play because they have normal everyday interaction with North Korea, which obviously we don't. So,
right.
Hopefully that helps as far as long term dealing with this because China's I don't know if you can call them the good communist, but they're at least not crazy. So,
did you ever stop and think all of a sudden that Donald Trump is sitting here going, and this just popped into my head, so I can't claim that I'm any kind of big genius or anything like that. But did you ever just think that Donald Trump just deferred world power status to China?
That's an interesting perspective. I don't know about deferring world power
status, but a little bit more pull than we do, so we're going to have to see what they do about it.
well, that just makes
golfing. Excuse me.
Honestly, that kind of makes sense because
of course it does.
China's. It makes sense.
Donald Trump does not have the stature in the world that a president of the United States ought to have. He does not have the platform that this country should have. As president of the United States, typically has been the leader of the free world. Am I right?
Yeah, and he's the leader of the free world.
I'm going to put that on Merkel at this point.
Dude, he still is.
He's not.
You can hate him. You cannot look. I didn't vote for the guy. Okay,
I'm not saying you did.
I find myself. This is what I find myself doing.
He does not carry the political clout on the world stage to be considered the leader of the free world.
I think it depends on who you ask and what country you're talking about. We've look. I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I'm also not an unbelievably harsh critic because
I'm not either. I'm pointing out a fact.
I don't think that's a fact. That's an opinion, and I get it. It does. I'm not saying that it's not without merit. I'm not saying that's not without merit because you could make the argument that he doesn't carry the weight other presidents had, but you can also make the argument that there's a little bit more. I don't know if it's more of a fear. It's more fear than respect of the United States. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing for other countries to fear us a little bit. That might not be a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it might not be a bad thing. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
I don't think that they fear us. That's why we're getting taunted from every which direction. I don't think that it's there. I think they're trying to call the bluff. Just saying. Just saying. Well, let's wait and see how this all plays out. I guess we will.
All right, Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, everybody's favorite traitor, will appear before a military judge who will determine his punishment for endangering comrades by walking off his post in Afghanistan back in 2009. Bergdahl faces life in prison after pleading guilty last week to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Prosecutors made no deal to cap his punishment, so the judge has a lot of leeway and deciding what his sentence is going to be. I think he go life in prison.
Yeah.
I think he'll life for this. Yeah, it was. I know. A lot of people say, well, he was in custody of the Taliban for 5 years, so that's punishment. But he walked off his post. He risked the lives of Americans trying to go find him. We had to exchange 5 terrorists to get him back, and I wasn't necessarily against that, but we've already paid a price for what he did. Now he needs to pay the price, and I'm all for forgiveness, but he also doesn't seem very contrite with, especially saying essentially saying he respected the Taliban more than the U.S. military. So I think he's not helping himself, and I think they end up getting life. He ends up getting life for this.
I guess we'll see.
What else is going on? 2 days of events celebrating the life of Helen DeVos are scheduled for today and tomorrow. A public visitation will be held today from 2 to 8 p.m. at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel Ballroom. Tuesday, a simulcast of DeVos's private celebration of life service will be shown at the JW Marriott from 2 to 3:30. That's first come, first serve. So it's always weird, showing a funeral on. I don't know. Maybe I'm old
TV.
School. Yeah, maybe I'm old school. It seems like something like that should just, if it's for family, just keep it private.
That's it. I don't need to.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. She's a very respected member of the community. She was part of a family that built up Grand Rapids into being what it is. I think public doesn't need to be involved in a private family moment. I just don't think it's necessary.
I mean, it's kind of tiptoeing into that whole royalty thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it is Grand Rapids.
Right. I just keep it in the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, you might be able to get your chillax on in Muskegon by the end of the year. Owners of the East of Eden Wellness Spa Center on 3rd Street are hoping to open their doors in the coming months. The spa will offer, this sounds really cool, flotation therapy, which involves being in a tank with 18 inches of water and 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. It reportedly feels like floating in space. This therapy also works well for those who suffer from chronic pain and illness. I guess it's good for like cancer patients. And someone like you've had that foot issue for years.
Are killing me today.
I'm
working at the farm all weekend.
Yeah, I mean this is something that I think there's one other facility like this in the state that I know that I think is in Detroit.
Wow.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens when the doors open here. So.
Well, how about that? Maybe we could schedule a day.
Where you and I go in and float around.
That'd be great.
I think that'd be fun.
You and I in a couple of bathrobes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some nice fuzzy slippers.
You got it. I'm there, man.
Of course you are. Fun. You've been trying to get in a bathtub with me since the day I met you.
No.
Side, and now you're trying to turn into me. Perfect.
I know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
Of course you don't. Keep touching me. You know what I wish I would have done over this weekend? That looked like fun? Everybody that went to that Comic-Con thing in Grand Rapids.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty big deal.
I mean, that really looked like a good time. I mean, sure, it's kind of a nerdy event, and it's kind of, hey, look, Billy D. Williams. Yeah. But I think I would have dug that. I really think I would have had a good time at that thing.
nerd has become cool now. So
yeah, I can guarantee you this too. Had I gone to that thing, I would have come home with a couple $100 worth of Star Wars stuff that I really didn't need, and
right,
gotten the stink eye for it. So maybe it's
you spent what
exactly.
on what?
But honey, it's the Millennium Falcon. It's in the original box. It's worth it.
Sports,
Funny how life never changes.
Yeah.
But Mom, it's really worth it. But honey, it's a bargain.
Oh yeah, don't let her hear you saying, "Mom, that's not good." Sports, Lumberjacks beat.
No, what I'm saying is you go home and you tell your mom how valuable something was, and then later on in life, you're making the same excuse to your wife.
I understand. Lumberjacks beat Youngstown in a shootout on Saturday night. Michigan gets crushed by Penn State, 42-13.
Refs gave it to them.
Refs gave them a 29-point loss. It should have been worse. Michigan State beats up on IU 17-9. Michigan State jumps to 16th in the AP poll, and for the first time in the Jim Harbaugh era, Michigan drops out of the AP top 25. Got to be licking their wounds in Ann Arbor right now. NFL action yesterday. The lines were off. Chicago beat Carolina 17-3. It was the Packers falling to New Orleans 26-17. World Series starts on Tuesday. Meh. Dodgers, Astros. Those Dodgers and Yankees. MLB wanted that. Didn't happen. The Yankees choked away.
You got to root for Houston.
Yeah, Verlander.
Verlander. Isn't Cameron Maben on that team too?
Yeah, Maben's on the team.
Like Cameron Maben.
You know, and you got to root for who Kate Upton's rooting for. So
no, that's no. Well, what is your fascination with Kate Upton?
Because she's the most beautiful woman on planet Earth.
You're drunk.
Come on.
Shut up.